Are you guys aware that the share prices of JSW Steel and Tata Steel, two of the biggest manufacturers of steel in India, have more than doubled in the past 6 months? And had you invested the money 1 year back, then your money would have tripled by now. So अक्षय कुमार का तो पता नहीं 25 दिन में पैसे भले ही डबल ना हो, but within a span of 1 year, people who have invested in steel manufacturing companies, उनका पैसा ट्रिपल हुआ है. In this video, we will try to understand what are the reasons due to which the share prices of these companies have been soaring to such a high extent. And by the end of this video, I will tell you whether is it still a good time for you guys to invest in steel manufacturing companies? The answer to all your questions is coming right up. Yeah, so before we get into the details or nitty-gritties of why the share prices of steel companies are increasing, you need to understand the drivers first. You need to basically understand the structure of steel companies in India and what kind of production is done in India. So steel is one of the most important material used in construction, cars, and all sorts of machinery and appliances. Like, basically, the biggest markets for steel as an end product use is in the construction industry, that is your infrastructure spendings. So whenever the budget allocation stresses on infrastructure spendings, like construction of roads, construction of bridges, construction of airport terminals, railway stations, etc., etc., even residential houses, the basic raw material is steel. So if infrastructure spending increases, steel prices will generally go up or the demand for steel will rise. Second would be your automobile industry, wherein majorly steel is used as a part of constructing the entire structure of cars or two-wheelers. Okay. Third would be your machinery and appliances, basically your capital goods industry, wherein you would prepare any kind of machinery which produces end products for the consumers. So if uh, industrial activities rises in India, then or manufacturing activities rises in India, then the demand for new machinery increases. And if demand for new machinery increases, then the consumption of steel also increases. That is, the demand for steel will also increase. Okay, it is widely used because of its tensile strength and fracture resistance quality. That is why Superman is probably called as man of steel rather than man of iron or anything. That was a joke. Secondly, steel sector contributes to roughly over 2% of India's GDP. Also, it employs around 5 lakh people directly and 2.5 million indirectly. So it's a major contributor to the GDP of India. India has become in 2019 second largest producer as well as consumer, and the output for steel industry has reached 108.5 million tons per annum by FY20. India, as a sum, I mean, of the global steel production, contributes around 6% of the global steel production, which is expected to increase to 8% by 2021. Okay, this is now important. Price of steel India mimics the global prices. Now, why is it happening that the steel prices globally, let's say if steel prices are rising, then Indian steel prices will also rise domestically. This is because of the open economic concept that India follows. And India being the second largest producer and consumer, what happens is, let's say if the steel prices globally are trading at around 5,000 rupees, hypothetically 5,000 rupees per kg or something. Okay. So what happens, and in India it is trading at around 4,000 rupees per kg. Now what will happen, since India is the second largest producer, what Indian manufacturers will do, they will start exporting. Okay. And gain at around 5,000 rupees per kg rather than selling it at 4,000 rupees per kg in Indian market. So because of the open economic concept, I mean, this is not the only factor, but a major factor. Because of the open economic concept, Indian steel prices will always mimic the global steel prices. And since India is the second largest producer and consumer, this is bound to happen. Now we'll understand the production capacity of Indian economy for steel. So you can clearly see that from FY16 to FY20, the production capacity has increased from 122 million tons to 142 million tons in FY20. But the important factor is from FY20, 142 million tons, it is expected to increase to 300 million tons by FY31P. These are not my estimates or any industry estimate. These are estimates given by the government because they are running a program to increase the consumption of steel in India and production. So steel production capacity is expected to be more than doubled by FY13. That is, you can clearly see in the graph, the current CAGR is around 3.9%. But between FY20 to FY31, the CAGR has increased to 7%, is expected to increase by 7%. Okay. So steel production capacity expected to more than double by FY31. You guys have understood the basics of steel industry in India. Now it is important for us to understand why the share prices of the steel companies in India have risen to such a high level. Obviously, there is the important factor that there is an inherent demand that is expected to come up for steel industries in India. Basically 30% of the steel consumption, as you can see in the pie chart over here, almost 30% of the consumption is done by only three industries. That is your automotive industry, that is your automobile industry. Secondly is your capital goods industry, and third is your infrastructure industry. So you can clearly see that if these three industries and all the industries are growing, which it should grow at a higher rate because India is a developing country. And importantly, if we consider the three industries, the major driving factors, if we see that roughly 9% is of infrastructure consumption based on the consumption in India. 9% is consumed by infrastructure industry. 11% of the steel produced in India is consumed by the capital goods industry, and 10% is consumed by the automotive industry. Now, if we consider them one by one, India, for automotive market, let's say India is currently at the 4th position globally by number of units sold. It is the 4th biggest market for automotive industry. By 2021, it is expected that India is going to come at the 3rd place. And within a decade, India should reach at the 2nd place as well. So automotive industry is expected to flourish in India. So inherent demand for steel is going to be robust from the automotive industry. Same thing is for capital goods industries. Capital goods share is expected to increase from currently 11%, as you can see in the chart, to around 14 to 15% within a span of 5 years. Infrastructure share is expected to increase from 9% to 11% within a span of 5 years. But given the stress that the finance minister or the budget in this budget that is there on the infrastructure spending, it is clear that this 9 to 11% could be easily changed to 9 to 12 to 15%. Okay, so other areas being airports, railways, oil and gas, and power sector. So as you can see, the demand for steel manufactured in India is expected to see a good growth going ahead in coming years. Okay, so this is what we have discussed from the point of view of number of units sold, or the number of units that the steel company is going to sell to its end market. So the number of quantity that steel industry is going to sell to its end industry is expected to see a decent enough growth going ahead in coming years, in 5 years. Okay. Now the second and the most important driving factor is the rise in the prices of steel globally. Now, as we have already discussed, that in India, steel prices mimic the change in the prices of steel globally. One of the benchmark index being your steel rebar price development, which is USD per metric ton. This I have compiled from London Metal Exchange, the data series. You can clearly see globally the steel rebar price has increased from around 373 USD per metric ton in February 2020 to around 643 currently. Okay, so this has almost doubled. Now, since Indian steel industry mimics the global price that is there, hence the price in India also is increasing tremendously. And the global prices of steel rebar is at the decade highest. That is within the past 10 years. This is at its highest point. Now you can clearly see, as I have already discussed, that JSW, Tata Steel and SAIL are touching at 52 weeks high, and BSE Metal Index has gained about 150% in the last 1 year. So even if you would have randomly picked a company, most probably you would have at least made 150% return from that company in steel industry. Now we have already discussed that the end market demand is going to be very good, but the rise in the share price that is there currently is more related to the change in the price globally than the end industry demand that we are talking about right now. This becomes very clear when if I plot all these all the two charts, that is JSW Steel and Tata Steel share prices, along with the global rebar price that we have. So I'm going to plot all these three data series in one graph, and it will become very clear that the rise in the share price is totally mimicking the rise in the price of the steel globally. You can clearly see that the rise in the price has driven the share prices of JSW and Tata Steel. Now, why is that the case? I'll explain to you with very simple example. For example, let's say there is a Sony PlayStation had recently in past year launched PlayStation 5. The price, let's say the price is at around INR 50,000 per piece. Now, if we say that the demand is constant, irrespective of the price, okay, because the supply is at shortage right now. Now, what will happen is, let's say the price of PlayStation 5 is increased from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees per piece, and the demand is constant. That is, number of people are going to buy PlayStation is constant. Then what is going to happen is the sales of company that is selling the PlayStation 5 will almost double without any increase in the cost. Okay, the cost is same, number of people that are going to buy are also same. Suddenly, because of the demand supply gap, they decided to increase the price of PlayStation from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupees, and people are buying it. This is the inherent assumption. Then what will happen is the sales price of company that is selling PlayStation 5 will obviously, the sales amount will double the total sales amount. And what will happen is, since the most of the cost, the variable cost is going to say, fixed cost is going to stay the same, variable cost is going to stay the same, because the number of units that you are producing is the same right now, only there is increase in price. Then what will happen is that the profit of the company that is manufacturing PlayStation 5 is going to increase tremendously, and in that anticipation people are buying shares of PlayStation 5 companies. This is the same thing that is happening with the steel companies in India, because of the rise of the price in the steel globally, and increase obviously is going to happen in the Indian economy as well. The profit of JSW and Tata Steel is increasing exponentially, and in that anticipation people are continuously buying the shares. Okay, so this is totally at least for the past 6 months, has majority of the price rise has been driven by the increase in the price of the steel prices globally. Obviously the inherent demand assumption is also there, but hope this is clear that the rise in the price of steel globally has led to the rise in the price of JSW Steel and Tata Steel and other steel companies in India. Now that you have understood that the rise in the share prices of Indian steel companies is because of the rise in the price of the steel globally, you need to understand why there is a rise in the global prices for steel. The major reason for why the steel prices globally are rising is because of Sabka Karta Dharta, China. I mean, not talking because of the COVID thing. Obviously, that is also, for that also, China is responsible. But if you have a look at the chart over here, which is taken from World Steel Organization, this is a 2019 chart. You can clearly see that India, although is at the second place, but globally, out of the total steel production globally, China accounted for almost 53% of the global steel produced. And steel use also, out of the total consumption globally, China accounts for more than 50% of the global steel consumption. So China is the major driving factor for steel prices globally. Although India is at the second place, but it is at a very, minuscule place versus China. So India is not too much into the position of driving the prices of the steel globally. It is happening because of China. Just like everything COVID-19 is happening because of China, same thing is with the steel prices. So China is the biggest producer and consumer of steel globally and drives the prices due to demand and supply. Okay. Whenever we talk about demand and supply, always remember one example of the onion prices. It happens every 1 or 2 years. The onion prices, whenever there is more demand and the supply is not there, suddenly the onion prices will escalate to a high extent. And as and when the farmers start to dump, when the supply exceeds the demand, because all the farmers want to capitalize on the increased prices of onion, and when they start dumping into the market the onions, then suddenly that to make profit, then suddenly that prices will fall to a great extent within a span of 1 or 2 months only. So same thing happens, but understand that same thing is happening with steel demand and supply in China, and that demand and supply gap is causing the rise in the price of steels globally. And why is that? Because China is accounting for more than 50% of the global consumption as well as production of steel. So obviously, if there is a gap in China, then entire global prices are affected. Chinese. Okay. Demand and supply gap. First, we'll talk about the increase in demand. Post the pandemic, after the pandemic actually happened in around December in China. Around March, April 2020, Chinese government had decided to revive the Chinese economy that was very badly affected by the pandemic. So what they did was they increased the infrastructure spending from China, increased their infrastructure spending to such an extent in order to revive the economy and create job post the COVID impact. China actually increased the local government borrowing in the form of bonds to a record amount, and entire thing, and most of the borrowing was that was there through the bonds was spent on infrastructure development. This is the same thing that is happening in India. Indian budget is a total copy of the China infrastructure spending that was done by China in 2020. They were the first one to act on it, and we are just following in the footsteps, we and US. And this was bound to happen because the economy was so badly affected by the COVID all over the world that increasing infrastructure spending was the only option that the government has. Okay, so we'll stick to the Chinese economy right now. In 2020, they borrowed a record amount and spent it on the infrastructure. So what happened was, to get out of the COVID impact, to drag their economy back out of the COVID impact, they increased their spending on infrastructure to such an extent that there was a sudden increase in the demand for steel. And if you see, prior 5-6 months, the entire economy was shut. So steel production was shut. Now there was a sudden rise in the demand because of the infrastructure spending by the Chinese government. And there was increase in the demand from automotive industry after the recovery of the auto sector. So demand actually came back very quickly versus what was anticipated by the Chinese economists. And what happened with the supply? Supply could not increase at the same rate. Why is that? Because the supply was impacted by production cut in 2020 first half due to the lockdown. So the entire production was shut. Many people lost their job. Many of the plants were shut down because they could not survive the closure from the lockdown. And when the demand came back, the production was not there, because for so many months the production capacity was shut down, and suddenly the demand came back. The production capacity, not only in China but uh, globally, was hampered even by the second and the third wave as well. India currently is going through the second and the third wave, but globally, immediate increase in the production or ramping up of the capacity by other players was also not possible, because every country was affected by the second and the third wave. Same thing happened for the raw material of steel. I mean, iron ore is their main raw material, and due to the supply constraint, iron ore was not available for steel production. So, if you don't have the raw material, how will you produce steel globally? So, what happened was demand had suddenly come back, okay, and there was a tremendous increase in demand, but supply could not come up at that rate. And going ahead also, China is expected to close down some of its inefficient units, because they have the target of reducing their carbon footprint. So, because of all this factor, there was a huge demand and supply gap created in China, which increased the demand for steel uh, globally. I mean, China was tremendously demanding steel from other countries and from its own manufacturing facilities, but the supply wasn't there. So what happened was it increases the prices. Same thing happens with the onion prices. Whenever the demand is more than the supply, the price is going to increase. So same thing happened with the steel industry in China as well. Now what happens is China accounts for more than 50% of the production and consumption globally, of the global production and consumption for steel. So if such a big economy is getting affected by the demand and supply gap, almost 50% of the global production and supply, then there is a huge gap created for between demand and supply globally as well. Okay, hence the steel prices globally are rising, and the same thing is going to happen in India also. I mean, India is going to follow the same footsteps, because uh, prices of steel in India is mimicking the global steel prices. So now you understand why there was a sudden spike in the global steel prices. This was majorly because of the demand and supply gap that was there, created because of the COVID-19 impact, and the Chinese economy, which could not match up the demand with its supply increase. Now, the important part is whether you should invest in steel companies now. Okay. For this, you need to understand that the share price is increasing because of the increase in the global steel prices. Now, if the if the steel prices globally are able to be sustained at that level, then it makes sense for you to invest in the companies that are producing steel. So, who is the right person to give an answer to this? I am definitely not a right person. Even the demand supply gap concept that I have discussed with you is not something that I came up with myself. It was there in the conference call of JSW Steel, Tata Steel. So a lot of research went into it to understand why the steel prices are increasing globally. Okay. So a right person would be chairman of Steel Authority of India Limited. In her interview had quoted, this is an interview from 7th April 2021, that the next 1 or 2 quarters are likely to remain same. That is, this was an interview given on April. So likely by till September, the prices of steel globally are expected to remain at a high level. So what happens is, after let's say 2 quarters, what will happen is, now everybody will start to, I mean, obviously everybody has understood right now that the prices of steel is at a decade high. So everybody is going to ramp up their production capacity as soon as possible. And as and when the closed capacity that are there right now are starting to revive, the production is going to increase, and then slowly but steadily the supply is going to match the demand. But she clearly states that for next 1 or 2 quarters, this is likely to remain same. So the price drop is going to come after September, because the demand will be matched by the supply, and this is not going to happen within a span of 1 or 2 months. It is going to gradually happen after September. Till September 2021, the demand supply gap is expected to continue, and because of that, what will happen is the price of steel globally is going to continue at a high level. So normalization of steel prices should start from the end of September 2021, and as and when the capacity starts to come back globally, since steel companies will increase their production to maximize their sales on account of increased steel prices and increased demand. You can also consider investing in iron ore companies as well. Now, whether you should invest in steel companies in India, well, I have already told you that the steel prices, global steel prices, are expected to remain at a high level for at least coming 2 quarters. So the price is expected to stay at that level for till September 2021. That means the steel industries in India, the steel companies in India, are expected to benefit for at least coming 2 quarters at a very high level. So there are two drivers of sales for Indian companies. One is your units. We have already discussed the units demand is expected to increase in the long term due to increased infrastructure spending by the government, recovery of the end market post pandemic, that is the automotive industry is expected to increase, capital goods industry is expected to do well, and obviously because of the infrastructure spending. So units growth is going to be steady. I mean, India is expected to have a good units growth for steel companies, and the price, the other variant being the price. First is your units and second is your price. The price is expected to stay at a high level at least till September 2021 and then start to normalize. So you will have ample time to exit the stocks as well, because this is going to happen gradually after September 2021. This is not going to happen immediately. If you closely follow the news going ahead, then by September 2021, you are expected to gain from the increase in the share prices of steel companies. So verdict, so you should definitely think about investing in steel or iron ore companies. But obviously the best thing would be to identify undervalued companies so that you can maximize your profit. Some of the companies that I've already mentioned, Steel, Tata Steel and JSW Steel, have already gone to 52 weeks high. Now what you need to do is, it's a totally buy opportunity for steel industries or iron ore industries. So you need to identify undervalued companies in such an industry. What I personally do is I use my automated tool to identify undervalued companies within a specific industry. Okay, that if you want to check out that video, the link for that is in the description, which shows how I use my automated tool to identify undervalued companies. But overall, our verdict is very simple, that till September 2021, at least till September 2021, it can further extend if the demand and supply gap continues to stay the same. At least till September 2021, you can expect the share prices of steel companies in India to continue to rise, because the prices are going to be stable at such a high level. Okay, and the inherent demand is obviously there for Indian due to increased infrastructure spending, automotive recovery, and capital goods recovery. If you guys like the content of the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Your support means a lot to us. If you have any queries, you can comment to me in the comment section. I would be more than happy to address it. I also conduct some value-added online courses, the link to which is mentioned in the description. Don't forget to check it out because it contains some free lectures as well.